Well, hey, Haley, thanks for joining us on the Unexpected podcast with Wyatt Spalding and Jake Burnside. Appreciate you joining us today. So we're just kind of get to know Haley Haley is a teammate of Wyatt on the Special Olympics team. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys have been playing together for how many years?
Oh, it's probably been, I would say, I was in high school
Yeah.
for basketball, and I think that's how we met.
Yeah, because we
Because
played.
he played against us, but we have our mothers have
Mhm.
connections as well.
Mhm.
So that's how we actually got to know each other more.
So what year would that been when you were?
Probably 2005. Does that seem right?
Nah, it would have been like 09 or 08, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't play.
Yeah,
tennis.
but
Yeah.
Nice. So that's kind of how you guys got to know each other from playing on that team together, correct?
We played against
we
each
played
other.
against each other.
Yeah, we played
Okay.
against each other. I guess like during the game, our moms reconnected. And because they went to the same college. They went to Hastings College, right, Haley?
Yes.
So yeah.
Okay, so they knew each other way back when,
Mhm.
and now they kind of reconnected from you two playing each other, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. That's cool. So then as you guys went along, did you keep playing against each other, or did you guys start playing on teams together? How did that work?
Well, and then I guess after I graduated high school, I started playing tennis. And so then I think we met at a tournament in Omaha, like a Labor Day tournament or something like that. And that's how I think we got started. And then as it went on, we kept playing each other in Omaha. Right,
Yeah.
Wyatt? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
It's been so long.
Yeah, so what happened was we would play each other, and then one time, I was looking for people to play, and my mom and dad told me like, well, Haley would like to play more. So I like called you one time and be like, hey, you want to play tennis? It was like we didn't we knew each other, but not that well. You're just like, yeah, sure, and stuff like that. But then we started like playing, like every now and then play each other. And that's kind of just like how it happened. And when we both kind of like got up to like the same level, like the top level. And so like I think one tournament where like you just want to play doubles together. It's like, yeah. And that's kind of like how it happened. I would say like that was like 2011 or 2012, something like that. So yeah.
So Haley, did you ever come to Fremont and play?
I did every once in a while. So we started this a long time ago. We would go, sometimes he would come to Lincoln, and sometimes I would go up to Fremont and play. And then when Wyatt and I were gonna go to the Seattle for USA games, I went to Fremont practices a lot.
Mhm.
Nice. Yeah, why? And you maybe Haley, both of you guys could kind of explain. So Haley, you went to the games in Seattle too, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe you both can kind of share your experience. Maybe Haley go first, how that was, who you got to meet, just the other kind of stuff you guys did.
Seattle was, I think it was the best experience. Playing with Wyatt was really awesome. We won gold, so that's even better. Came back from losing, and that was my favorite experiences. And the game winner match, we were losing like 4-8, I believe. And then I don't know what clicked, but we just fought through it and we won 10-8 to win gold. So that was my favorite experience. And I don't know, just Seattle was such a gorgeous city, and it was a lot cooler.
Yeah. Just being there was an awesome experience.
Yeah. So like when we were there, I remember like that match in the championship. We we were down. I like missed a shot in the net, and I got like really pissed. Like I was pretty mad. And then Haley's like, "Why? Just calm down." It's like, okay,
Easy,
easy, come on.
easy.
All right. And then like I remember like one shot that Haley had. She like got pushed to like the doubles alley, so like on the far inside of the court, and she hit like a cross court like backhand shot on the all the way on the other side, and went like it landed like right in the opposite doubles alley. And I don't know why I remember that, but then like we just started like doing well. And I think I asked you this the other day, Haley, but like I don't remember many shots. Like I have no idea how we came back. I just remember the last point and we won.
I don't remember much either. I just remember we were losing, and then all of a sudden we won.
Yeah, it
And
was kind
our
of. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, and our thing kind of was our parents were like, because we always ended up in a tiebreaker
Mhm.
for the entire games we were in a tiebreaker, and our parents were like, why a tiebreaker? Because for
Yeah,
singles matches and doubles, we were both all in tiebreakers, but we came out with a win.
yeah, and doubles. I mean, singles we did okay too. We both got third, but we both lost in a tiebreaker in the semifinals. The funny thing is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Haley, but I think we both said like, yeah, we'd actually rather win singles than doubles because we like singles more.
Yeah, it is true. Like, doubles is fun with you and everything, but I don't have to worry much. But uh
Mm,
singles is awesome. But the cool thing playing with Wyatt is I think we play against each other, I mean with each other so much and against that we kind of know who's gonna get the ball, or like we don't have to communicate as much because we were like, oh, Wyatt got it,
yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah, you mesh together, you combine together really well playing, and so you just like you don't have to say, hey, you don't have to worry about Wyatt being here, Haley being there. You're like, all right, he's got it here, she's got it there. So that's
mhm.
pretty cool. Yeah, yeah. How about you, Wyatt? Was it some? What was some of the good experience or some pretty cool experiences in Seattle?
Well, for me, it was my first time to go, so the whole thing was pretty cool for me. Um, I got to actually like I like said some opening statement on the USA games for like opening ceremony, so that was pretty cool. And then just kind of like being there for the first time because Haley's first time was 2010, right? And you went to it was in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yep.
And so it's like cool every time, but like the first time you go to the USA games, it just has like that special moment because you worked so hard to get there and now you're finally there. So and yeah, I just remember like the first singles and doubles match was like I couldn't believe I was here. Like, after like 8 years of trying to make it, I made it. So yeah.
So it was going there. It was like a select process, right? You couldn't just everyone who was involved in Special Olympics in Nebraska or whatever. You couldn't just go, right?
Yeah.
No,
You like
I think. Oh,
yeah,
go ahead, Wyatt.
oh sorry. You had to like fill out paperwork and then had to pick the
Mm.
best. Because you had to finish first, right, Haley? In the state
You had to
tournament.
finish first, second, or third.
Yeah. So
Wow. So we're talking with some of the best players in the state right here as we speak. Huh.
yeah. We were like the number ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, that's really cool. Yeah. And Wyatt, so if someone Googles Wyatt Spalding ESPN, your speech will come up with what? Kevin Nagandi, right? Is that who
yeah,
interviewed you?
it was for ESPN, it was Jen Latta
Okay.
interviewed me. And so I got like a 3-minute segment with Jen Latta on it's like after I lost one of my matches too. So
Oh,
I was like kind of mad that I lost. Of course, I lost to the guy
yeah.
that won my division. And
Yeah.
but yeah, like and I think they got Haley and I playing doubles a little bit too, so that was cool. But
Yeah.
yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool experiences to be a part of that. Yeah.
And then Haley got to go. He played in Florida. And tell us how you ended up in Florida, Haley, for the USA Games this past June.
Playing in Florida was my goal since coming back from Seattle to be a level 6. So level 6 in Special Olympics in tennis is the highest level. So in Seattle I was a 5+. So it was really close, just
Mhm.
not. So that was my goal since coming back from Seattle. And so in Florida, I realized I was in level 6. So first I was scared, nervous, and then I realized, okay, I can do this. So it was amazing. I played Brittany from Florida, who's the number 1 in the entire country, I would say, right?
What?
Yeah, for like women's, she's definitely
For women's, yes, she's
Yeah.
like uber good.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to play her twice. So I had to play her in the division round. But I held my own. Actually that day I think I was played better than the medal round. And then I played someone from South California that I knew from Virginia. So that was kind of cool to play her. But also like, like, I want to play someone new and
Mhm.
different. But it was really fun. It was really, really hot. I really appreciated Seattle a little bit more with the cooler weather.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
It was just so hot.
Yeah, tell them about the
But
first
level of
day.
play. Oh, so the first day, we were supposed to schedule, so we had 3 matches. I played 2 singles in the morning and then a doubles match in the afternoon. After my singles match, it was about like noon, they postpone play because of the heat.
Mhm.
So I didn't quite get that because it got hotter as the day went on. So it was a 2-hour heat delay. And then they're like, all right, let's just go for it. It was 136 degrees on the court.
What in the world?
And
Dang.
so it was, I was like, oh, it's not that hot. And then you go on the court, my feet were already like burning. And I could feel it, like I could feel like the heat rise. And I was like, okay, it's hot. And so then they realized like, okay, we're gonna shorten up the sets. It's too hot for anyone to be out in 136-degree heat. And then we had a lightning delay. It was the entire week, it was either a heat delay or a lightning delay.
Wow.
But yeah,
That's
it
not
was
136 degrees. I don't know. That's not safe. What in the world? That's crazy.
Yeah, they didn't
Wow.
have any indoor
Yeah.
they had
facilities.
no indoor. And then from Tuesday and on, they really canceled a lot of matches in the afternoon, especially for Tuesday and Wednesday. It was still divisioning round. So they were like, all right, after Monday, we're cutting back to only 2 matches. And then everything's going to be done by 3. And I was like, oh, that's great. Because in Seattle, Wyatt and I had no free time. We didn't sightsee. We didn't even know there was a Space Needle until closing ceremonies. Because we had no time. We were at the courts from 7 a.m. to all the way to like 9.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then coming to Orlando, I actually, for the first time, I got to explore. So that was kind of cool. It'd be like, oh, I don't have to be on the tennis court until 9 p.m. I would actually enjoy that better if they would decide to do that matches later instead of during the hottest time. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I never wondered why like why didn't they just let you guys play at like nighttime? There were lights and stuff, weren't there?
right, I mean, it'd be so
Yeah.
much cooler
Yeah. Or like play like
for
7.
everyone.
Yeah. Play like 7 to like 10 and then play like, I don't know, 6 or 7 o'clock until 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
The
So
wor-
earlier in the
yeah.
morning and then later at night.
Yeah.
We're
The
not
worst
geniuses, but
the worst part was after Monday, we couldn't even go see other teams or your teammate. Once you're done on the court, you go straight into the air conditioning.
Oh,
You had to be there until you're 15 minutes before your match. So like that was the kind of like if you were there for the first time and you want to just feel the experience, you couldn't really do that because you were in a air conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The building,
Wow.
where we played was about like a mile to walk to.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. You remember in Seattle, we didn't know there was a bus that we could drive to the court, so we walked every day.
You guys were walking.
Yeah. It was
We
Let me
walked
guess.
about,
You found out at the very last day there was a bus or shuttle
Yeah.
system.
yep. Because
Yeah.
we're like, we saw tennis players going on this bus. And we're like, what?
Lucky.
And I think it was New Jersey. And they're like, yeah, we've been taking the bus every day. And we're like, what bus?
Yeah.
We didn't know there was a bus. And then at that point, you and Nancy were like, well, let's just screw it. We're already walking.
Yeah. Nancy was our coach.
Yeah.
He's like, and it's the last day. Let's just keep going. Because it was like a 45-minute walk. And so like when you come back from playing 4 matches or 5 matches in one day, you had to walk 45 minutes back.
So every morning and every evening, you guys were walking there and walking back,
yeah.
and no one told you about the darn bus.
Or we
That'll-
didn't, yeah. Or we didn't find it.
Or
It was
did-
probably both. So,
But we took a different direction every single day so we can find less steps and less hills.
oh yeah.
Exploring a little more.
It wasn't bad.
Well, that's cool. It sounds like both Florida and Seattle were just amazing experiences, and pretty amazing that you guys were able to go do that. That's really awesome. So,
All right. Haley. So I've always wanted to ask you this, and I probably asked you this before, but so like how'd you get into like tennis and just sports? Because I mean, like your family didn't play sports, but you're like the athlete of your family, right?
Yeah.
Nice. So like Yeah,
So
go ahead.
I got started. So I always wanted to be on a team. So when I moved from Kansas to Lincoln in 2001, I couldn't find a Special Olympics team or didn't even know about it.
Mhm.
It was very hard to find a team. And then in high school, my resource teacher was like, hey, I think I'm about to start a team. And I'm like, oh, I would love that because I want to play. And so we started a basketball team at my high school. And then from there, I kept playing basketball. And then once I graduated, my resource teacher daughter played tennis. And they saw that Special Olympics Nebraska was hosting state. And she was like, do you want to play unified? And unified is a person with a disability and non with a disability. And so I was like, sure, never played before, but I want to play. And so we practiced and we went to state and we won. And that's how I
that's
quite
the story.
got to go to 2010 USA Games in Nebraska because I won that. And I was like, well, this is cool. And that's how I kind of got hooked. And so I kept playing with my partner that I got started with for a while. And then she graduated and went to California for school. And so then I was like, I'm looking for like, how can I get more involved? And so Lincoln Tennis Buddies was there, and I helped start that with Phil Wolf. And so that's kind of how I got started. And I would say tennis is more of my sport. Basketball got kind of put on the back burner until last year that Wyatt convinced me to play. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, then you play soccer too, right?
Yes, I play soccer and golf, but I call golf as a seasonal sport. I only practice 3 weeks before state game.
Well, yeah, because you play with your dad.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun to do.
I would say golf is much more frustrating than anything.
Are all the sports that you play, you participate in unified, or is it just specific ones?
So the only I do unified now is golf and basketball.
Do you enjoy the unified or the not?
I enjoy it in basketball and golf.
Mm.
Oh, and soccer. I forgot soccer. but in tennis, I don't like it.
That's because you got
I
your
would-
teammate Wyatt.
Yeah.
Yeah. What don't you like about unified for tennis?
Well, in Nebraska, it's more like a beginner. So like after skills, you go
Mhm.
straight to unified.
Yeah.
And I just some of
Yeah.
that, like I don't want to do unified if it's going to be mostly beginners, and I don't want to like cream
Yeah.
them, and I don't like it's not fun for them, it's not fun for me.
Right.
Yeah. And then we went to that unified championship in Orlando, Wyatt and I did, and there are some partners that just took over.
Yeah.
Like dominated.
Dominated, like took it away from the
okay.
athletes.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So it's kind of like that is not what I like about sometimes about unified is like I feel like the partners have like they want to win more, but it's not about them, it's about the athletes. So
Yeah.
Taking away that experience. Yeah.
Yeah, and unified can be really fun. Like I played my dad and my sister in tennis, and they just kept the ball in, and then I had to win it or lose it for us. But it can, like just any sport, the unified player can take over, which is like not the point. The point is for them to just like basketball, get rebounds, assists, and get like the athletes the ball and let them decide the outcome of the game. And I think like just anything, whether it's Special Olympics or not, like people just get competitive and they want to win. They want to help the athletes win. But sometimes it's like takes away the point of like, the person with the disability, the athlete's supposed to be the one to score the point. It's not the unified partner. But
Wyatt, haven't you or still do unified with your brother Wes and Kenny? You still still do
so
that?
with my friend Kenny and Wes, we would play unified basketball, and we played a little football together too. We don't play anymore because they moved away. But when I went to Orlando, I played instead of tennis with Haley. I played basketball, and the reason why I played basketball, or one of the reasons, was because Wes played with me, and we played on a unified basketball team. And it was kind of like, oh, let's make this our last like games together, because we probably won't play together for a while since he lives in Colorado and I live in Nebraska. But back like in high school and college, we played all the time, Wes, Kenny, and I. And then the Orlando tournament that Haley was talking about, I played tennis with my sister Jess. We went there, and then Haley, you played with our coach Nancy. Yeah. So I mean that was fun because we played on clay courts. That was cool. So
wow. That's what's the tournament they do clay courts for tennis? Not the US
French
Open, the French Open.
Yeah.
See, that's how much I know. But yeah, no, that's really cool.
Yeah. So Haley, if you could kind of like, for Special Olympics, you gotta qualify because you gotta, have like a certain like a disability like mine, cerebral palsy. If you could just explain like kind of what your disability is and how you deal with it in a positive way every day.
So I have a syndrome called trisomy 47. So it's mostly in females and it's rare. So it basically just means that I have medical issues, learning difficulties, and social anxiety.
Okay.
So I kind of just deal with trying to overcome it. Learning, you can't really do much, but like with the social anxiety, you even know why. Like I was definitely shy, shy, and I didn't talk to anyone. I literally didn't speak one word outside of my home for years. And then once I joined Special Olympics, that's when I really like, oh, okay, like that's how Special Olympics kind of just changed me. That like I'm more confident now, and I think social anxiety is kind of like back in the back burner. So that's pretty cool that I'm finally overcoming it. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Hey, definitely. I mean, you definitely. I don't notice like you talk a lot more. I mean, you're an advocate for people with disabilities. we both give speeches. We're always like, Haley and I will be on like the same committees, and it's like the last time I'm gonna give a speech, and they're like, do you want to do it or do you want me to do it? We know they're gonna ask us, and we're
Yeah.
like,
Someone's gonna do it, so better make up your mind.
yeah, we're always like, which one do you not want to do? And then I'll do that one.
So Haley, is that sorry. So is that with your social anxiety? Like obviously you're doing an amazing job right now and with things, but I'm sure it's still an inner battle, like daily kind of thing, like in your mind.
Yeah.
It's something
So
you fight daily.
fight daily is mostly, and then when I like do speeches, like I freak out even worse. I don't know why. Like inside my body, like I'm presenting, I probably like sound great and like look great and doesn't look nervous at all, but inside I'm like cringing. And then for me, for social anxiety is like, then I like repeat like, oh, I should probably shouldn't have said that, or like that's probably not like what you guys want to hear, and like that kind of like that's what I overthink way too much. And then especially meeting new people. So like I play on community tennis, and so that has been really like struggling a little bit to get like used to people and actually have to talk to them. So but yeah, it's every day, but it's getting better.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great to hear. It's getting better. And then Wyatt, is something you inner, obviously not outer, you can't really notice that, but inner battle, is that something that you deal with, or is there something else that you kind of struggle with inner, Wyatt, inside yourself?
I think like, I mean, I don't know what Haley goes through, and I don't know, she doesn't know what I go through, but we both have disabilities, and like, yeah, I mean, I was shy too. I think sometimes being like the only one with a disability in the group of people that don't have a disability can kind of like intimidate you because they don't really understand. Like for me, like say like, oh, I'm gonna go home now because I'm like tired, but I don't want to say it because it's like I don't want people like, you don't want people to like treat you like you're helpless. Like, yeah, you have a disability, but it's like I'm not like I can do stuff for myself, but I mean, like there's just stuff people don't know, and you kind of get shy because it's like, you don't know if they'll understand or not. So, and I'd say like for me, I mean, I was shy too, but I also had like really vocal siblings, so they were always, and like being a twin, helped me because you would go do stuff together, and so I think that would help. Or like like Haley, you have siblings, but they older and younger than you. For me, my siblings like my same age, so we just go do the same thing. But yeah, I remember like Haley, like I noticed, I knew Haley was, but I never talked to her. Like you said, you didn't say much, but then like when we went to go play that one time, I was like, I didn't notice he had social anxiety. It's like she talked to me just fine. Like we talked just fine. We talked tennis, and so I think like that's another thing too with Special Olympics. It's like when you do more Special Olympic events, then like it just becomes like a community, and you get to know more people, and so
the more you do, the closer you get to people,
right,
and just build a better relationship. That's with anyone.
Yeah.
And I know for you, Wyatt, seeing firsthand the way Wes would push you growing up, and just be your teammate and give you advice and stuff. So I kind of see where, from outside view, what kind of that was like. So
yeah, just like someone pushing you, and I think like all three of us, we could have someone probably pushes us to go be social or try new things, which I would say I still working on trying new things.
Yeah,
a little bit. I mean, just I call myself a homebody.
Yeah, me too.
So I think both of our, like, I don't know about you, Wyatt, but my parents were like, hey, let's go, like, maybe go hang out tonight. Or I mean, like, they encourage me to do more things with my friends, but sometimes I'm just like, eh.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like you have to like mentally prepare, like, okay, I'm gonna go do this on this night, no matter if I'm tired or not, I'm just gonna go do it. Like I'll tell myself.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just like, it's like, okay, let's just not make any excuses. Let's just go.
Yeah.
Give me like a 2 week in advance. I need to get mentally prepped to go do this. Yeah. Yes, Mom, I'm going.
Yeah. I'm out of here. Gosh.
Yeah.
But
Well, and then Haley, that kind of goes into the next thing I was going to ask. Like, so is there someone now in your life, maybe other your parents or family or someone that's kind of like push you or just kind of mentored you or been alongside your journey this whole time?
I would say my siblings, and
Yeah.
then my friend who I met in high school, and so we I was roommates with her like years ago, and then now we just hang out a lot. And she's been pushing me like, hey, let's go do something this weekend. I think we should try this. And so that's been great that she was like, okay. She's the one who like pushes me to get outside the house and do activities. And then my siblings are more of their like encourage me and for sports, even though they don't know much about sports, but they try.
Yeah. They try. That's good. And how old are you? What's the age difference with your siblings?
Okay, so I'm 32. My brother is sorry, we're all 4 years apart. 36. And then my sister is 28.
what you know what year your sister graduated high school? Because is she the same age as me or old, like 1 year older? And you're
She graduated in 2012.
okay, so yeah. So she was a little older than Jake and I. And then your brother went to Hastings College, right?
Yes.
Which is cool because both our moms went there. Your brother went there, and my brother went there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we got that connection too.
Yeah.
Haley, so tell us about like you're on like a lot of like committees for Special Olympics. Like we're on the Athlete Input Council together, so that's just like a board of like athletes that can speak out and suggest things for Special Olympics. And what other cool things have you done for Special Olympics? Whether it's on committees, I know you work for Special Olympics, right?
Yes.
And so you can talk about that too, like just cool things you've done besides sports with Special Olympics.
So, like Wyatt said, I'm on the Athlete Input Council, and I also did a state government board, and then I have been a chair of the Athlete Input Council for the USA Games that were held in Orlando.
Nice.
And then I am working right now. I'm working with Special Olympics International and their government relations team. So mostly I make resources and trainings for athletes to get into government. And that just got extended. So my fellowship doesn't end until June. So I'm really excited about that.
Nice.
What's
Yeah,
talk a little
Jake.
bit more about the government relations. So what is that like? What's it look like for you? What do you do in that role?
So government relations, they do a lot of things. So for Special Olympics, there's a one main event they do every year, and it's called Hill Day. So all the 50 states come to DC in February, and they go talk to their state's representatives and their staff about keep funding for champions of schools and health, because we get federal money for the champion schools and health programs. So that's really cool to go to. I know I went in 2020 before the world shut down. Wyatt, I know you had to do not in person, but that was my favorite time to do that. So that's the main thing for the government relations team, but they also do they're trying to get other countries to do Hill Days, and then they go meet with different congressmen, or not congressmen, government officials in other countries. And then sometimes we do a lot of things, but that's the main thing. We also, our department also handles all the visas for all the athletes and unified partners and everyone that's going for like major events. So like USA Games, we had, the Caribbean, so they all had that's what we all deal with. But luckily, I don't have to deal with any of the visas or stuff like that.
Sounds like a lot of work dealing with visas.
Yeah.
So I only have to do is making training. So I've done intro to GR, that's government relations, PowerPoint, and then storytelling, how to tell your story, etiquette for athletes for Hill Day. I've been interviewing athletes that got involved into government, so that's been pretty cool. And I know that's a lot, but
well, yeah, I mean, so you're just, I feel like every day is kind of different. It's not just one thing you do, so you do a lot of different things in that sense.
Yeah. I thought I was busy because I love being busy at work, because I don't like I'd rather be busy than have nothing to do.
Sitting around.
Yeah, just be bored.
Yeah. So I thought I was busy the past, like, since I started in June. And they just told me that it's gonna get really busy because we're doing Hill Day in person. So it's gonna be busy, but I'm okay. I'd rather be busy than not have nothing to do.
Yeah. Feel more productive. I feel like the work day goes quicker, and
Yes.
Definitely.
So I agree in that sense.
All right. Yeah. So just a couple more here, Haley. So like, since we give speeches and stuff for Special Olympics, and like just being an advocate for people with disabilities, like what does that mean to you to like have a voice for people with disabilities?
It means everything, basically. I want to speak for the people that can't speak for themselves. And we know what we don't like and what we need to see, or so like I'm a big believer in changing our language, disability language. That's my big, right now, that's what I'm advocating for. So just reminding people, hey, let's not use that word. Here's another word to think of.
Like what word would you say?
So my main one is special needs. I hate that term so much. We're not special. We're human.
Right.
And this has been an ableist word, and it needs change. So when I see people use it, or even like boards use it, or like nonprofits use it, I'm like, hey, how about you change it into people with intellectual disabilities, or people with disabilities, instead of people with special needs? Because that, every time I see that word, it makes my whole back cringe, and I'm just like, why use that word? So that's my main one that I'm using. I mean, like, trying to like advocate for. Because I know a lot of people, like, I don't know about you, Wyatt, but that word, that term is just,
like
it's not like I like.
Special. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, that term has never been changed since it came about, probably like forever long ago.
Yeah, in the 60s. Have you ever watched the documentary on it, like on the 30 for 30 about it?
Oh no, there is.
Yeah, so if you go like on the ESPN Plus app, or just look it up online, like YouTube, it's like it's about how it got started, and like how they got started was like people with disabilities were like in cages and stuff and chained up, so they called it special needs or Special Olympics. I mean, honestly, back then I was like, wouldn't blame them. Like, what are you gonna call it, honestly?
Well, I don't mind.
That I don't mind.
I don't mind Special Olympics, but like the term special.
Right.
Needs,
the special needs part is like, well, really? I mean, but what I've learned too is like a lot of people get it, a lot of people might not get it, or they just like don't want to change it. And like you said, like, what's special about having a disability? No parent wants their kid to have a disability. It's like, but I mean, yeah, I think that's great that you want to try to change the language of it. You posted something one time like, my disability is not motivational. Like I like
Yeah.
that. That was cool because it was I think like what if we're still doing what we're doing, but we didn't have a disability?
Mm.
We don't do what we do because we have a disability. We do what we do because that's what we love to do. We could be the same, we could have the same personality and not have a disability. Our disability is just kind of there. And you just gotta like, it's just something you gotta overcome. But
Yep. I always say disability is not a bad word.
no, it's not. It's like I have a disability. And like mine's pretty noticeable with my hands. Like, well, yeah. And like, I don't know. One time someone's like, what if we called you like differently abled? And I was like, no, that's like way worse. Do not call us that, please.
Haley, do you have, so in that sense, have you been able to communicate that to people like through speeches or just like when they say special needs, you like help them change, or is there anything you've been doing to get that going?
So I did a article with Wisconsin University in their research lab,
Oh, nice.
I believe. And then so when I see it, like I emailed there was a nonprofit I saw on their website, and I saw it and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna email. They're like, contact us. I was like, all right, I'm gonna contact you.
Yeah.
So I emailed like explaining why this term is not the greatest. Or when I hear people, I'm like, hey, can you say disability instead? Or
Mm-hmm.
people with disabilities.
Yeah.
So like I know it's not going to change overnight, but if I can just impact one person, then that can make all the difference.
Nice.
Yeah. One to just be faithful in just one step. It's not trying to look the full picture, but just like seeing it and obviously what you did and taking notice. So that's awesome.
All right. Jay, you got any more questions for Haley?
Yeah, so just one going forward from there. So Haley, what is one like advice or just one thing you've learned over this years of dealing with the disability or going through Special Olympics? Some advice or just something you've learned over the last few years.
I would say if, doctors or people in your life say you can't do it, basically just screw them and just say yes. Yes, I can.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that's great.
Yeah.
Just because we have a disability doesn't mean we can't do it.
Exactly.
Right. I like that.
We
I
find
like that.
we find interesting ways to do it. It's not maybe not how everyone else does it, but we figure it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it done. Yeah.
Oh.
I like it.
Haley, what is so besides like the winning in Seattle, what's another great like sports moment you had in Special Olympics?
Oh, that's a tough one, Wyatt. Making me think. Let's see. I would probably say it's the USA Games one. No, let's do a different one. I gotta think of a different one. I would say playing in Virginia tournament. I got put in the highest bracket. Never played in this tournament before. I was playing against all guys, like number one people.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost every one, but my point is I held my own. I kept up with them, and that just made me a better player, I think, knowing that, yeah, I didn't win any of my matches, but I got to play against really high level play that I probably wouldn't be and in that moment. So
yeah, definitely. So Jake, this tournament, she's talking about is called The Experience, and it's in Charlottesville, Virginia, and it's the top 32 professional tennis players in the U.S. get invited. And so, like, Haley, you finished like what, like, so you finished like 8th out of the 32 or whatever.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. And so
That's awesome.
yeah, and so she finished 8th, and like your last match, like you could tell, like you were getting better every match. You know, I don't care if it's your first year, like me, it was my 5th year. The first match is always the worst because you're nervous, because it's like, oh, I'm
And then when
playing.
I saw my bracket, I was like,
Yeah,
oh no, like, because the first day if you're new, you have to do like division play. And I did, my mom goes, you did really well. And she was my coach, but she was mostly there for more emotional support because she has no idea about tennis. So she learned a lot at the Virginia tournament. But
yeah,
she was like, you look at you scored really high. And I was like, oh, that's great. And then she's like, look at you playing. And I was like, oh. And
yeah,
so, but I was fine with it. Like,
yeah.
just you know, like you said, because you said your first year was pretty nerve-wracking. So
Yeah, and I was put pretty high too, and I didn't win any my first year either. The first year is like, I mean, there are some people that do like really good the first year, but you know, so it's just like nerve-wracking because you never play against anybody like this, like
no.
so because you're used to being like the best in your state, then we all come together and like, oh yeah, there's all these other 31 players that are really good too. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's kind of like what Haley and I train for like a lot is just that tournament.
Yeah,
So
that's cool. Yeah.
but all right.
Well, thanks for joining us, Haley, and just thanks for being open, honest, vulnerable, and just sharing some things that you're doing and some things that you'd like to see changed.
No
Yeah,
problem.
Haley.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, Haley.
Having me on. Sorry.
Yeah, Haley, thanks for doing it. And we'll get to play a lot more probably
No
here
problem.
soon. So yeah,
I always
Awesome.
do everything. I will do anything for you, Wyatt. You're
Oh,
a great friend.
thanks,
So.
Haley. Yeah, it'd be fun because I'm moving to Lincoln, so we get to play more tennis.
Yay.
So it'll be fun. Jake, you should play tennis.
Oof, boy, I don't know. I think I've played like handful of like 5 or 6 times, and I celebrate if I get over the net, and then I can't return it. So
You're athletic. You'll be okay.
yeah. Well, I don't know.
Well, thanks for watching this episode of Be Unexpected, everyone. And stay tuned for episodes in the future. You can email us at beunexpected100@gmail.com. So stay tuned for more episodes on Be Unexpected. See you.